Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's March 3rd, 2014. To my left is Logan Burgess and I'm Brock Shimbino. We had a mixed trade in Chicago with Chicago wheat being the leader of the upside. Let's turn over the live quotes to see how we ended. Corn was up 7 cents. Soybeans leader to the downside, down 4 3/4. Chicago wheat leading to the upside, up 29 1/4 cents, and Kansas City wheat was up 26 cents as well. You know, Logan, we did see wheat be the leader today, and I think a lot of what was going on there was some of the political unrest that developed in the Black Sea region this weekend.
Yeah, it definitely was the talk of the trade today. Take a look at a 5-minute chart of the Chicago wheat May contract. As you can see here, we gapped higher to start the overnight session last night. We haven't seen that in a very long time here from wheat. You can see that during the trade session, though, we did start to sell off. It looked like this market was going to try to close the gap, but we did have a relatively strong close. In the end, though, still 10 cents off the highs of the day. As you said, Brock, story of today's trade was what's going on in Ukraine right now. You can see the area here circled in red is where Russia has threatened to invade. Really, there's a lot of political implications from this story, but what the grain market is concerned with is how effectively Ukraine can export corn and wheat primarily here over the next several weeks. Right now, the USDA projects Ukraine to export 6% of the world wheat export, or excuse me, 6% of world corn exports this marketing year, 16% of wheat. So definitely big contributors there to world exports. And I think, as you said, earlier, Brock, that's really what the grain market's concerned about here. What we need to keep an eye on, though, is how long-term these implications are going to be. We had a chance to speak this morning to a retired 4-star general who has some familiarity with the political situation over there, and his take was that this situation is unlikely to affect grain exports in a major way. Obviously, it's going to kind of change here day to day, but going into it right now, this might be a near-term pop in the market, one that may be used for making some pickup sales. Like I said, corn and wheat both definitely showed some weakness today after the start, but the movements here in the coming days are really going to be dictated, I think, over the next 24 or 48 hours.
You know, we did see a nice rally in wheat, and I think what the idea that traders had was that if Ukraine is having some problems exporting, we're going to see some more orders come over our way, and that's going to actually bid up our markets over here. So I think that's why we saw the rally here initially for wheat and for corn. Just in the overnight session, we did have a couple of export sales, rather large export sales for corn, actually. We saw an export sale of 211,000 metric tons going to Japan. We saw another 140,000 metric tons going to South Korea. So that was good to see, and I think that helped prop up the corn market a little bit as well. Those Japan sales are mostly going for next marketing year, so that was mostly new crop. Something else we had out this morning was the export inspections report. If we take a look at the numbers here, you can see the middle column is what analysts were expecting for the numbers this morning. The right column is what we actually saw. Corn had a very impressive showing here this morning, over 1 million metric tons exported last week. Soybeans fell a little bit short of the analysts' expectations, coming in at 984,000 metric tons, still a very strong showing there as well. And wheat came in at 609,000 metric tons, above analysts' expectations there as well. If we take a step back and we have the USDA reports coming up here early next week, in relation to where we stand for this marketing year, wheat is about 40 million bushels ahead of the pace the USDA is currently projecting. Corn is about 12 million bushels behind pace, and soybeans is 267 million bushels ahead of pace. So corn is lagging just a little bit on the export inspections, but keep in mind, we are ahead on the overall sales pace. The sales pace, we're well over 200 million bushels ahead on that, so we still might see some revisions made to those export sales anticipated by the USDA next week.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a challenge here, as we talked about a little bit last week. We have a lot of corn sales on the books, as you said, Brock, but looking at inspections, not a lot of it has actually left the country. That could be a basis story here in the coming weeks, and we'll help keep you posted on that. If there's any new developments on the Ukraine story, we'll be tweeting about it here later today and tomorrow morning. And feel free to call our office if you have any questions, 877-472-4607. It could be a volatile overnight session here. If you want access to the overnight trade, visit us over at grainhedge.com. You can get a great mobile trading platform that can go with you on the road, on your iPhone, iPad, tablet, or Android. Feel free to give us a call at the office if you have questions about that as well, 877-472-4607. Thanks a lot for joining us here on a volatile but very positive day in the grain market for corn and wheat. We'll have to see if it can continue into the overnight session. We'll see you tomorrow to help break it down.